Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another video, and today I'm bringing you a wedding event idea. So yeah, it's another one of my event ideas. So what I've decided to do, just a quick sort of preface before we get into the event idea. I've decided for my major events, just because I spend so much time on them, and like I don't really, it doesn't really reciprocate in views. I would. Like, I don't want it to be, I'm not like I don't just care about views, but at the end of the day, I spend, like I said, I spend a lot of time on these. So, unfortunately, I have a life. Well, I don't have much of a life, but with the small part of my life I have, of the life I have, I would prefer to, if I'm going to spend so much time on these, get more money. So, I know that sounds selfish, but that's just how it is. So what I've decided to do, instead of like cancelling these, is instead I've just decided to sort of reduce my time on them. So for the major events, I'm just going to do less of a quest line, because I don't think people care that much about my quest lines. My quest lines are never too far out anyway, so I've just sort of thinned them out, and I'm going to continue sort of making them brief as of the future of these videos. So I hope you're not too bothered about that. It shouldn't be a massive deal. I'm sure no one's that bothered about it, but just to let you know. So this is a wedding event idea. Now, I could have focused on so many other different episodes. I decided to go against characters we've already got in the game. So I decided against doing like Arpu's wedding with Manjula, which definitely would have been a solid thing to do. And as well, Becky and Otto's wedding too. The one sort of thing that I kind of wanted to include in this event, but I ended up not including, was the Simpsons backyard wedding venue, which actually is the same wedding venue that appears in both the Manjula episode and also the Becky and Otto episode. It's the exact same one, because they even say that they've reused it. So, unfortunately, I haven't got that item in here, but I've included it in other events in the past. That's the one thing I wanted to fit in, but it just didn't quite fit in. This event mainly focuses around Homer and Marge's wedding, but also Patty and Selma. I figured those two would be interesting characters to follow. So, let's get into it. So, all the women of Springfield flock to the church. It's this wedding season, whatever that means. And Marge is confused and a bit taken aback. But soon, as Luann brings up some big celeb weddings, like Rainier Wolfcastle, maybe we've got Stephanie and Kent Brockman. Marge, she's like, I want to get married again. So you make Homer hide from Marge, because Homer does not want to do that, and make Marge propose a renewal of vows, and this will start the event. So let's get into it. So the first item we have is, and this is super premium. I don't know, I wanted to include this somehow, the wedding dress Homer. I think it is pretty funny, so I figured why not include it in the super premium. We've got costumes in the past, and I don't know, I think this one, I don't know how happy I'd be about this, to be honest, but it was just an extra thing to throw in there, so I figured why not. It could be a funny costume for Homer. So yeah, that's $8.99 or pounds. And moving on, we have Act 1. So in Act 1, we have Howard Sr. with the future Howard's Flowers for 150 donuts. So this is a future building. It's Howard's Flowers. They turn into a complete, like a business empire, I guess. You get this big ass tower that says Howard's Flowers, and you also get Howard Sr. with it. So Howard Sr. is the original owner of Howard's Flowers. He's like a season 1 character, I guess, and for some weird reason, he I guess he just dies off screen, because then Howard Jr. comes in. I'm pretty sure they even reference him as Howard Jr., so it sort of concludes that this guy's dead. So I figured why not chuck in Howard Sr., and we can get Howard Jr. another way. Moving on. So Homer, he is found, Marge finds him, and he's forced to prepare the renewal of his and Marge's vows, as Marge looks for a venue and, of course, flowers. So you do some things, and you unlock Groom Homer as a costume. So, I know that throwing a costume in a character is very rare that they do this. For this event, just to make it work, I had to. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's plausible. I don't think it's impossible. And plus, this one you're getting 2 decorations and 1 building. So I think it's fair. And the decorations are quite, similar anyway. So I figured it would make sense. Then basically, Marge, she'll manage to find a venue, but Homer doesn't like the fact that they have, they have wine and they don't have duff. So Homer's sort of like, he's getting Howard Sr. And maybe even, Howard Sr. He's like, yo, Howard, could you hide some duff cans in the bouquets and in the vases? And so, Howard Senior is like, fine, I'll do it. But this causes the manager, who is, we'll just say the wise guy for this, he's like, no, you've broken our rules. So he's banned Homer and Marge from the venue. So this will unlock Swell Air Hotel as a building. So Marge is very upset that Homer has ruined the wedding. She's in bits, and Homer goes to Howard Senior. He wants, begging him, please, you need to recover this. Maybe do some nice flowery thingy. And eventually Howard Senior will say, yep, sure, whatever, we'll do it. And you unlock the Love of My Life flower display. So yeah, you'll get this as a decoration. I know theoretically you probably could design this yourself, but I figured why not? It could be like a big thing. Actually, to be honest, it could be on the hill as well. It could just be like the hill with the flowers on it. And then Marge is amazed by the flowers. Her love has been renewed. She forgives Homer, and Homer is, she's like, I want to get this wedding back on the road. So Homer's happy to help, and he begins to help her look for a new venue. And eventually, you unlock the few flowers as a separate hill with separate flowers on it. I guess you could combine the two, but like I said, I wanted to sort of justify the costume and character, so I feel like this, having like a kind of two repetitive decorations, kind of justifies that. And then finally, Howard Jr. comes with the big flower bill. He's like, well, you spent all these money on like these duffs and these nice apology flowers that you've made, so here's the bill, meaning that they have no money for the venue now. And Marge, she's just like, I want to strangle you, Homer. So you have some antics there, and you unlock Howard Jr. as a full playable character. So you get both Senior and Junior. Moving on, so Act 2, you will get Victor/Victoria's, an upscale men's clothing store, with Tuxedo Patty for 150 donuts. Now, I realise that this, A, is in the gay neighbourhood, and is B, kind of implied by the name, to just be a men's clothing store. But then the name of it's kind of contradictory, because it's Victor/Victoria's. And I know that maybe it's like just sort of kind of like queer culture sort of thing, like sort of cross-dressing, that kind of thing. I understand that, but like, I don't know, I think it fits because she's wearing a tuxedo, which traditionally, I hate to say, is a male's clothing. So I don't know. I think it's fair. I think it's fine for this one to come with this costume. I think it makes sense. So that's 150 donuts. So, well, Marge is mad at Homer for the fact he blew their wedding budget, and Homer thinks of ways to earn money. Right then, Patty is there looking for a woman. She wants to finally settle down, but since the explosion of Springfield, some Republicans have sneakily destroyed the gay marriage bill. Lisa rallies to fix it, and eventually Lisa fixes it, and you unlock this big rainbow. Why not? What a simplistic way to solve that civil rights issue. But yeah, you get this big rainbow. This can be like a decoration. I don't know, something about it. I think it could be kind of cool. Maybe as well, a cool way to add this is actually to have the rainbow be placed on the mountains. No, I'm going with that, yeah. So this rainbow is placed on the mountains. So you can either place it on the first row of mountains or the second row of mountains, whichever one you pleases your fancy. And yeah, it'll be quite big as well. It'll be relatively sized, and yeah, it'll be a really cool, unique sort of decoration. The road to gay marriage is back, and Patty asks Marge to help her find the right woman for her. Homer, meanwhile, is trying to capitalize on gay marriage by painting Moe's, in the rainbow. He's like even trying to paint the church, even the roads, and this will unlock the yellow brick road. So the yellow brick road, I want this to be added as a it'll be added to your inventory as like a permanent thing. Now, obviously, like with the dirt road, it comes back in events, and I feel like this one should be like similar. So it's not a permanent thing in your game entirely, but when you unlock it, it's just a tile, right? You've unlocked the tile, so you don't have to like pay for new tiles. It's not gonna be like the ice. I hate the ice just because it's limited to how many you can have. Whereas this one, I want it to be unlimited. However, not permanently for like every player. So you have to play this event and unlock it in the prize track to actually get it. And then obviously when they re-add this tile, they can add it to the store for like 10 donuts or 20 donuts or however much the road is. And I think that would be a reasonable way to add it. So it's part of the joy of kind of doing this event is you unlock the Yellow Brick Road. And I'm kind of doing like this act is kind of like an LGBT thing as well, so it could be cool if this wedding event will correlate with Pride Month. That way it kind of it doubles up. This act kind of doubles up as our Pride Month sort of thing, as well as the wedding update. Marge and Patty go to bars to look for a woman, and someone hits on Marge. It's Leslie. Patty, or I guess Veronica for at the moment. Patty tells her to back off. Marge is married to an oath, but still. And eventually you unlock the Ride Curious Lesbian Whiskey Bar, which, yeah, it's a pretty cool looking building. Patty and Leslie begin to chat, and they get along, but Marge tries to remind her, Leslie is cross-dressing, but Patty sort of denies it all. Patty's kind of ignorant, Patty, not ignorant. Patty wants to believe that it's real, she's kind of like, I guess Patty's got amnesia for this section. I know, what a contrivance, but I couldn't think of anything better. Homer, though, tells Marge to shut up. He's got his license back and is marrying gay couples, and this is lesbian weddings. He charges double for them, so this is a big bit of money. And this will unlock the little chapel, and this will be a skin for the Simpsons house. So basically, you get it. It has the balloons over it, the little whatever this is, plant thing over the door, and as well the garage is open with the pews and the red carpet, and you obviously have the little chapel cutout thing as well. I want this to be a skin for the Simpsons house. I definitely, I don't know. It's just so cool. Alternatively, they could always add it as a building, and they could just add the garage open with the little, the little chapel thing. That could kind of work as well, and just have the garage separate with the little chapel. That's another alternative thing they could do. But I don't know. I think the skin would be better. Patty is about to marry Leslie for the second time when Homer comes clean. He can't do it anymore. He's like, oh god damn, this is not nice. And Patty's gonna realize that eventually she's gonna realize again that this, Leslie is a guy. Unless they wanna, I don't know. I always found the Leslie episode so weird because I don't know if they were trying to I don't know. Simpsons has always had a weird thing with trans characters, like Judge Harm. The joke that Judge Harm used to be a guy, and I think Helen Lovejoy's Stan Relina, his cousin. That was weird. I'm the Leslie one. I'm very iffy on, because part of me thinks oh well, it's not really a trans character anyway, because it's it's a guy cross-dressing as a woman because he wants to be with Patty, right? Which, I mean, sure, it's just an awkward episode. I don't really know how to address it. So yeah. Anyway, Patty concludes she's happy alone, and maybe we could have Evelyn show up, who's Patty's girlfriend in the newer seasons, or at least in one episode. Maybe that could happen. But anyway, you unlock Leslie Robbins Swisher, aka Veronica. And then Act 3, you have Angela with Angela's car for 125 donuts. So this will be a building and decoration combo, but it's for good measure. There is a cool animation I have, and that will be with Angela and her car. I think her name's Angela anyway. Whatever. Selma wants some of that wedding joy, as Angela and Fat Tony have decided to get divorced, so she wants to swoop in for that sweet mafia money. Homer sees this as another great opportunity to earn the cash for his wedding. They both begin hanging with Fat Tony, and eventually, after some bonding, they unlock Fat Tony's boat. And you get this as a decoration for either the river or the sea. You can place it on whatever. Fat Tony falls in love with Selma once more and he proposes straight away. Homer asks for a sort of dowry of sorts, and Fat Tony, because Selma's dad is dead, and he's the next big figure, male figure in the thing, and I don't know, maybe something like it's Italian tradition or whatever. I know it's not, but we could BS your way through that, and Homer's like, I want the dowry. So Fat Tony agrees it to be paid once the wedding is complete, but right now they must shop for a cake. And I know a dowry is also traditionally paid the other way, as in the family of the bride paid the family of the groom, but I'm gonna say that Italy's got it backwards, okay, or forwards, I don't know. Anyway, this will unlock the wedding cake. Selma and Fat Tony finally get married, and Homer is given his dowry money. However, Angela is back and demands Tony's hand. She has some new mafia ties, and Fat Tony could get whacked if he does not marry her. And this will unlock the Four Seasons of Springfield as a building. Fat Tony goes to Homer and wants his advice on who he should kill, Selma or Angela. Homer is tempted with Selma being whacked, but he does the right thing and reports it to the police. I'm just kidding, he says Angela. And this will unlock, you do your tasks and you unlock the just murdered car. Fat Tony and Selma are happy together, her as his wife, but it turns out Legs and Louie didn't whack Angela right, and she's back. Tony is forced to divorce Selma and go back to Angela, but Homer argues he can't have the money back. She's used goods. They argue over the money, and Homer gives back most of it. In the meanwhile, Marge, Lisa, Patty, they're all horrified by this blatant sexism. And anyway, you unlock Goomer Selma. I just realised I've got to, because obviously I'm not doing the tasks anymore. I forgot about Act currencies. I did want to do that. So obviously Act 1 is going to be wedding bouquets. Act 2 is going to be bow ties. Or, we'll go with bow ties. Act 3 is going to be, wedding cake toppers. And Act 4 will be veils. Anyway, moving on. We've got a Gills deal. It's the wedding reception venue with Valerie Rothman and Dave Rothman for 250 donuts. That's right. So you get this nice building, which is the wedding reception venue, where obviously these two have their wedding reception venue, where they have their wedding reception. So it's a really nice looking building, for sure. And of course, you also get Valerie Rothman, who is the Simpsons' cousin. I think it's Homer's cousin, and Dave Rothman, who is her husband. Now, how she fits on the family tree is completely unknown. Some people say she's Cyrus Simpson's daughter, just because Cyrus Simpson married those ladies, but she's clearly like, God, I don't want to say, Japanese, or she's Chinese? God, I think it's, I'm not sure, but she's clearly, I think it was Japanese. I think her name is like traditionally, her maiden name is like traditionally Japanese. I forget if it was either traditionally Japanese or traditionally Chinese, one of the two. So how she fits with the Simpsons family tree is unknown. Probably like she's probably the daughter of Abe's uncle or something. Or it's possible it could be like an adoption as well. And of course, Dave Rothman is just her husband. Just some random dude, really. Anyway, Act 4 store, you've got Wed Lobster with Wedding Dress Marge. So, yeah. A costume and a really cool looking building. I definitely think this one is really awesome looking for sure. Anyway, Homer and Marge watch Valerie and Dave get married, and Homer proposes to Marge with a donut. He has the money now, so they can go for it. She picks out a dress, but the dress is extremely expensive, and Homer ends up blowing his money all on it. Then this will unlock the wedding dress after you do your tasks. Homer needs to earn some more money, so he ends up selling his car to Moe, who gives Homer his car in return. And it turns out Moe has Homer's old crappy car. So you do some tasks, you unlock Homer's old car. I don't know, there's something about it. I actually really like it. It's kind of like, it is so like 90s. Marge asks Homer for the rings, and he goes to a store to buy them, but he obviously can't find one in his price range. They're all so expensive. And then Homer resorts to selling his duff, his fridge, his TV, his clothes, everything he can, but he still needs more money. And Homer grovels to Flanders, who instead, for obviously the money that Homer has, gives him Mod's old ring. And maybe we could have Mod show up in the quest line. Anyway, this will unlock the family jewels after doing some tasks and stuff. Finally, well, not finally, Homer is out of money now and needs a venue. He finds Snake is being arrested and begs Judge Harm to double up his court session as a wedding. Harm agrees, but only if Homer is able to capture Snake, as Wiggum has just handcuffed himself and Snake's getting away. And so we have some tasks with Snake, Homer catching Snake, Wiggum being caught and all that. And you will unlock the wedding venue Courthouse. This will be a skin for the courthouse. You will have, these big, flowery, it looks really cool. Could be a really cool skin. So, yeah, for sure. Awesome. 2 skins in this, to be fair, but I don't know. I'm cool with skins, especially those two. The Little Chapel, I think, would definitely be a really awesome skin, and this one too with the courthouse, I think, could be very cool. And then finally, the big day is nearly here, but one thing is needed: a vicar or a priest or something. He asks, Homer asks Lovejoy. He's charging a hefty price nowadays. He asks the rabbi. It's a massive no. He asks anyone but Shotgun Pete comes to his aid, and he says he'll do it for a packet of chips and 5 lotto cards. Homer is able to get those stuff. Like Apu donates a lotto card, and Abe donates a packet of chips, stale chips, and he manages to get all that. We can have some fun antics with that, and eventually you unlock Shotgun Pete's by doing that. And as a bonus, if you don't have it already, you will also unlock Shotgun Pete's Wedding Chapel as a building in your town, if you don't have it already. So, that is my wedding event. And the epilogue is Marge and Homer. They renew their vows. It's an awful venue, but in the end, Marge doesn't care. Homer tried his best, and that's all she could ask for. So you make Homer and Marge renew their vows. And that will be the end of the update. So, yeah, I don't know. I think this one's pretty cool. I definitely think a wedding idea is a strong contender. Like I said, there is more they could add. For example, like the Manjula episode, they could give us Apu's mother. They could give us the Ganesh Homer. They could give us other sort of members of Apu's family. They could give us something with Manjula and Apu as well, like a costume for both of them. Which is a good possibility. Also, Becky and Otto's wedding. They could give us Otto's parents. They could give us a costume for Becky or a costume for Otto. There's things they can do there as well. I just went with Homer, Marge, Patty, and Selma. I think that way it's consistent. You got both Patty and Selma, a sort of act for both of them. Then they're not characters that usually get that sort of treatment in an event, so I think that could be interesting. And yeah, as well, you get the sort of classic Homer and Marge involvement in the whole event. So that was my idea. Let's get into tasks and animations. So, first of all, we have the wedding dressed Homer. We've got stop, drop, and roll. I feel like this could be like a really funny one where like the dress catches on fire and Homer is doing like stop, dropping, and rolling. He's on fire. Slip into the dress for 4 hours. We can just have some jokes about how it's like all stretched out and destroyed, and Homer needs like a good 4 hours to get into it. Shop for more dresses for 8 hours. This could be semi-animated. He just goes from store to store, maybe. Or possibly it could be at Red Lobster if you have it. Walk down the aisle for 12 hours. So this will be Homer essentially pretending like he's walking down the aisle, practicing to walk down the aisle. There'll be like a little red carpet rolled out on the road or something like that. Or maybe just on the pavement or the grass or whatever. And there'll be like also sort of like a lamppost. Actually, no, this could be a lamppost because he'll get caught on the lamppost and the dress will like just rip off him and he'll just be stood there in his underwear and he'll frantically try and get it back on. And then try fix tears for 24 hours. That will be at the Simpsons house. For Valerie Rothman, we got complain about her day being ruined. This will just be her having a meltdown. She'll chuck her veil to the floor. She'll be screaming. I figured because they seem like such a happy couple in the episode, Valerie and Dave, and I feel like maybe I'm just mean, but I really want like Tapped Out to sort of flip the opposite, like make it the opposite thing. So you got get tips from Marge for 4 hours. That will be with her and Marge at the Simpsons house. Plan other weddings for 8 hours. That will be at the wedding venue. Try figure out her place on the family tree. This is kind of a funny meta one, but I just wanted like a big family tree sort of, board, a bit like what's his name, Cosine's task, where he has like the Super Friends thing, similar to that. She'll have like a little whiteboard will spawn, and it'll have like, you could probably see like Homer and Marge on the tree and Abe and all that, and then she'll be trying to like figure out where she's meant to go. And then consider a divorce for 24 hours. That will be at the wedding venue. For Dave, we have read his vows for 60 minutes. This will be him. He'll have like a little cue cards. He'll be reading them, maybe sweating a bit and like flipping through the cue cards. Maybe he'll drop them. And I know in the episode he seems like confident and happy, but I want to sort of flip that. Get drunk at Moe's for 4 hours, because them being happy and happy and joyful, that's boring. Like drink at Moe's for 4 hours. That'll be him at Moe's. Get another job for 8 hours. This will be him working at the wedding venue. This is something I want to do where like they try to like have like a break, but they end up like, she ends up planning weddings and he ends up like working the bar at the wedding venue, so they just like bumped into each other. Sing for his wife. This will be like a desperate attempt, kind of like a karaoke thing. Maybe he'll be like he'll be in his suit still, but he'll be there like with a karaoke machine singing his heart out, and you can tell, so maybe by his actions you can tell he's not very good. And then try fix his marriage for 24 hours. That'll be him in the wedding venue, I guess. For Howard Sr., We have Fix Up the Town's Greens for 60 minutes. So this will be him by the bush, the sort of pinky flowers, that bush. And he'll be there like with like some shears kind of trying to fix it up, basically. Deal with an infestation for 4 hours. This will be at Howard's Flowers, the actual building that's already in the game. That one, if you don't own it, it will be at the tower. And then turn his business into an empire for 8 hours. That will be at the Howard's Flowers Tower. Plant a tree for 12 hours, so this will be him by a road, and he'll have like a sort of little tree, and he'll be planting it. He'll like dig up the, or actually it could be near like a current tree in the game. I'm trying to think. Well, actually no, it could be outside the tower. Yeah, outside the tower, he'll be digging. He'll plant like a little tree, sort of shrubby thing. Like a baby tree, essentially. And then plan his inheritance for 24 hours. That will be at the Howard's Flowers Tower. For Homer, Groom Homer, we got Lick His Way to Freedom for 60 minutes. So in the episode, he's tied to like this cinder block thing. And he has to like lick like an ice cube to get the key. I think it's like, is it chili or whatever it is? But yeah, he'll basically be doing that, like licking this ice cube to try and get the key to get himself free, and he'll just be like tied to a cinder block. Obviously, it's like a Saw parody in the episode. Try and make it to the wedding for 4 hours. That will be him probably at the Brown House, I guess. Renew his vows for 8 hours. That will be at the Swell Air Hotel. Try get a stain out of his suit for 12 hours. This will be him essentially frantically trying to get a stain out of his suit for 12 hours, that he'll be drinking and he'll like eating a hot dog maybe, preparing for the wedding. The mustard goes all over his suit and he'll like rip the suit off and he'll be trying to like scrub it and he'll put it back on, the stain's out, and then he'll repeat drinking a beer, eating the hot dog, and then, carry on. I know that's not interesting, but it's kind of hard. I was struggling to actually come up with like interesting tasks for these costumes. And then, interesting animations. Buy more bow ties for 24 hours. That will be anywhere really, whatever, some store. For Howard Jr., we got Flower Up the Town for 60 minutes. This will be him walking around, just chucking flowers everywhere. Why not? Try selling different types of plants for 4 hours. That will be him maybe venturing into the weed business. Why not? Organize wedding bouquets for 12 hours. 8 hours. All these could be at either the Swell Air or the Four Seasons of Springfield. Bring out the bill for 12 hours. This will be him bringing out like a massive bill, and it just continues to unravel. And then overcharge rich people for 24 hours. This could be at the Heights, either the Heights tunnels, or it could be at just like one of the Heights buildings. And then for Tuxedo Patty, we've got Educate Bigots for 60 minutes. This will be her smoking a cigarette and kind of like shouting and screaming. I don't know. I feel like that could... It's difficult because I kind of want like... I don't know. I couldn't really think of anything better, okay? If you got better animations, let me know, because I couldn't think of anything. Advertise for Victor and Victorious for 4 hours. Basically, for her quest line, I figure, why not? She rocks the suit so well, even though she's not, not a guy, that they want her to, like, be the sort of face of the business. Try sell suits for 8 hours. This will be her at Victor/Victorious. Advertise her suit for 12 hours. This will be her kind of, maybe there'll be like a mannequin with her suit on, and she'll be like showing it off, and maybe she'll grab the suit and she'll put it on herself, and then practice her wedding for 24 hours. That will be at the Simpsons house. For Leslie, we have play golf for 60 minutes. Probably quite easy. Leslie playing golf, maybe gets angry and chucks the putter on the floor. Be friends with Patty instead. I don't know. It'd be nice to have like a resolution where they're just friends. So I figured, why not? And this could be at the apartments with her. I don't know what pronouns to actually use for Leslie. Just because the episode kind of gives the impression he's they're a cross-dresser, I'm just going to use he. I'll just use they. Attend a golf tournament for 8 hours. That will be at, I guess, Country Club, if you have it. If not, I don't know, the town hall. Try look for the one for 12 hours, and then be Valerie for 24 hours. This will be them basically dressed up in their Valerie attire. Maybe the wedding dress, actually. In the wedding dress. Angela, we've got drive her car like a lunatic. So this will be her. The reason why I wanted to add her with her car is I actually want her to be like driving the car on the road, but like recklessly, not kind of boringly like Ian drives it. I want it to be like swerving. I know it's limited to the roads, but it could still be limited to the roads. Just kind of swerving a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Yeah, and maybe like could be like a little obstacle. Maybe like a fence or something will or like a barrier will spawn on the road and she'll like crash into it. Try, take out Fat Tony for 4 hours, and when I say take out, I mean kill. Ally with Fat Tony's enemies for 8 hours. All these could be at the legitimate business social club or just a brown house. Get Goomered up for 12 hours. So this will be her, kind of looking like Selma does in this image, but you know, sort of hair kind of up and sort of waxy and oily. You know, massive hoop rings, even bigger than these hoop rings, like big hoop rings. Crazy nails, like incredible, like 8 feet long nails, and sort of hot pants, I guess, as well. And then avoid being whacked for 24 hours. This will be the brown house. And for Gooma Selma, we have fight Angela, not another Angela. And this won't actually require Angela. If you don't have her, you don't need her. You'll still have the animation, but if you do have her, it will include Angela, and you'll get a cash bonus. Relax on the boat for 4 hours. That will be on Fat Tony's boat. Marry Fat Tony again. That will be at the Four Seasons Springfield, or Springfield's Four Seasons. Show off her materialism for 12 hours. So this will be her. She'll have like a fancy car. She'll be, at like a fancy car will spawn, and she'll be there showing off like the big ring on her finger and showing off her, her maybe like a handbag or something. And then settle into mafia life for 24 hours. That will be at the legitimate business social club. For wedding dress Marge, we have stress out planning. So this will be her. She'll be on the walkie-talkie, kind of tearing out her hair a little bit, sort of stressing out, trying to do stuff. Shop for a new dress. That will be at Wed Lobster. Renew her vows for 8 hours. That will be at the Swell Air Hotel, if you own it. Breakdown for 12 hours. This will be her kind of pretty much breaking down in tears. I know that's kind of a sad animation, but it's a big point in the episode, so... Maybe they could come up with something better. Maybe that's too mean. I don't want to see Marge cry in the game. And then look for a wife, and though I figured why not just have a weird little side quest. And then for Shotgun Pete, this is the one I wanted to have fun with. So we've got defend his wedding rings. So this will be him. He'll have like a little wheelbarrow full of wedding rings, and he'll be there with his shotgun. He's going to get his name, Shotgun Pete. He'll be there defending it, firing his shotgun indiscriminately. Steal rings to sell for cheap. 4 hours, this will be at the family jewels. Marry people who shouldn't marry for 8 hours. That'll be at Shotguns Pete's. Marry Marge and Homer again, because I really want to actually have this like animation. So I feel like this animation for Homer and Marge to marry, I think it should be triggered by Shotgun Pete's. So basically, outside Shotgun Pete's, a little chapel or a little sort of pew or whatever you want to call it will spawn. Shotgun Pete will be there reading the vows, and Homer and Marge will be getting married in like a little animation. But I want it to be triggered by Shotgun Pete, because I think that could be like a really, really cool way to make this character kind of a lot more important to get in the game, because it unlocks like such a memorable and such an important animation for Homer and Marge. So that's how why I really wanted Shotgun Pete in the game, and why I kind of think this way they could make him like very special. And then also run away from the law, because he's been stealing those wedding rings to sell cheap, and defending them with a shotgun. So that will be for 24 hours. That could just be the brown house. So anyway, that is my event in full. I hope you have enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure to head over to the Discord to vote for the next one. And let me know if you are cool with the sort of quest lines being slipstreamed. It hasn't really affected the runtime that much anyway, because I've just rambled on. But like I said, let me know your thoughts on this event. I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.